Well, after being dropped off by our family and loading the canoes, we headed off on our adventure. Well, soon the river came to an end and we found ourselves in this compact grassland with very little water. But our objective was to find the mouth of this one little river that I had seen on Google Earth. So we just kept on pulling our canoes through this area and making our way towards where we thought the mouth of the river would be found, which we eventually did. We found the water slowly became deeper, and so we were quite happy that we no longer had to struggle through the thick grass, but we actually had some nice, clean water to float on in our canoes. These were the winter months, and so the water was quite cold.
Man, it's cold.
But it was quite hot already. Normally by 9 or 10 o'clock it's hot enough to jump in, and that's what we did, just to cool down. And yeah, it was really nice and refreshing. A little bit of tomfoolery going on here. We can't just swim anywhere. Normally we're quite careful about where we swim, as you can see. There are crocodiles in the delta, and so we generally only swim in areas that are very shallow and are clear, because you never know what's lurking beneath the surface. This little guy was probably hibernating because he didn't budge. He was just down there, not even scared of us, and so we just left him in peace. You can see the canoes are really loaded with all our katundu, as we call it. Sleeping bags, food, tents, chairs, some camera equipment, not much though. Yeah, we did try a little bit of fishing, but we didn't find much success in that department. But we just love being out here for the peace and quiet. It's so tranquil. So many birds. I mean, on this trip I think we counted 23 fish eagles on like a 35 kilometer strip of river. So many kingfishers, cormorants, and different water birds. It was really, really beautiful and peaceful, and it was so nice to leave behind the hustle and bustle of Maun.
There we
And
go.
even discover little treasures like this sunken hippo skull, the bottom jaw, still with all its teeth. Now, I must say it's quite scary being in an open canoe in just a couple of feet of water with nothing between you and the elephant. And normally we're in a vehicle when we come up next to elephant, but in this case we're just paddling in a canoe. This was a bull elephant. He was quite chill. And then finally we managed to end the day. Nice bend in the river, enjoying a cold one, fires as well, just chilling, enjoying the sunset. And then of course we have some of the beautiful night skies here in Botswana, just stars like unimaginable. Well, we woke up early because it was a little bit chilly, and we slept fine, but I think we all wanted to sit around a warm fire and make some coffee, which we did, and just enjoying all of the bird sounds. There were so many birds, ducks and different water birds, geese, storks. It was really wonderful. So Gareth decided to try a little bit of fly fishing. I've myself have never really tried fly fishing. I always have just used spinners. But Gareth was very optimistic in his chances of catching something. And so he did whip out his fly rod and swish it around. But he didn't catch anything, but he did have fun. And yeah, this was our camp. We left and went up river about 2 hours. We found this nice bend in the river and these large trees, which by this time it was around 10 o'clock. It was already hot. And so we decided to have a tea break, get the kettle boiling, and have some tea, 5 roses, a little bit of condensed milk, best kind of tea. Also, we just wanted to check the Maps.me to kind of see where we were. Well, after our cup of tea, we set off once again and followed the river. And the river eventually brought us to this huge lagoon. And what we noticed straight away was a number of hippos out in the center of the lagoon. So this caused us a little bit of concern and worry of how we were going to cross, because the river was on the other side that we needed to continue on. And we didn't want our canoes knocked over by a hippo, and we didn't want to get chomped by any hippo either. But anyway, we met these guys in a mokoro. They were fishing with some nets. So this kind of put our worries and concerns to the side a little bit, because if these guys were here, then maybe it wasn't too bad. We just saw a little gap between the hippos, and we paddled at high speed across this lagoon. And the hippos kept their distance, except once we were on the other side, one hippo did come closer to investigate, but he didn't get too close. And once we got through that lagoon, we followed the river a little bit more until we were exhausted and tired and hungry. And so we pulled over under a shady tree for breakfast. Or let me say it was more of a brunch, because it was quite late already. We cooked up some sausages, and we did fry up some eggs. And this is what happens to you after you've eaten a breakfast. Take a nap. And so we just had a little bit of a time to recharge our batteries, as it were, and get ready to continue the journey downriver, heading back to Maun. So the guys in the Mokoro, they actually told us that this river we were taking back towards Maun was not possible, and none of them had used it for a very long time. They said it was overgrown with grass and not possible to go through. However, in my mind, I thought it was possible, since I was using Google Earth and I could see it said there was a river. It turned out what the guys said was true. It got very, very shallow, to the point where we had to drag the canoes through thick grass and through very shallow water, only a few centimeters deep. But anyway, we eventually got through that section, and the river did become a bit deeper, and we found a campsite for the second night, made a fire, put up the tents, had a cold one, some snacks, and just relaxed, unwinding from a long day in the sun. Exhausted, but in a good way. And just across from where we were sitting was a large herd of elephants, which was really nice. They were just moving through the thick bush on the other side, And yeah, we just spent some time watching them. And yeah, it was Terry's turn to cook. He had made some steak. And the hyena started calling in the distance. So that grabbed our attention. We were wondering if they would come over during the night and bother us. But they kept to themselves. And yeah, we had a good night's sleep. And pretty much the animals left us to ourselves. And we woke up the following morning. After breakfast, we packed up, loaded the canoes up, and headed down the river. And it wasn't too long afterwards, maybe 2 hours downriver, that we came across a large herd of elephants, which were mainly made up of female elephants with their young. So I knew that they would be very wary of humans, and so we just pulled our canoes on into the side of the river and just watched from a distance. Most of them were on the left side of the river. However, there were 2 elephants that were on the right, and later on they caught our scent. Well, after all of that excitement, it took a couple of minutes for us to calm down and relax. But yeah, overall the trip was great. We really enjoyed ourselves. And it's trips like this that I really find inspiration for some of my paintings. I gather a lot of reference material with photographs. And yeah, I hope to do more of these kind of trips. If you would like to see more trips like this as well, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks. Bye.